Alright, Surface Transportation Board, Part 1312.1. Part 1312, Regulations for the Publication, Posting, Filing, Tariffs for the Transportation of Property by or Water Carrier in Non-Contiguous Domestic Trade. 1312, Scope of the Definition. 1312.2, Requirements, Published, File, Tariff. 1312.3, Tariff Content Standards, Essential Criteria. 1312.4, Filing Kind Tariffs. 1312.5, Amendments to Tariff. 1312.6, Advance Notice Required. 1312.7, Service Transportation Board Traffic Tariff Designation. 1312.8, Identification of Tariff Publication. 1312.9, Statement of the Tariff Application and Other Title Page Requirements. 1312.10, Notification Tariff Change of the Nature of Changes. 1312.11, Special Notification Order Matter. 1312.12, Posting Requirements. 1312.13, Furnishing Company Tariff Publication. 1312.14, Publication Part Attorney Concerns. And 1312.15, Change Carrier or Agent. 1312.16, Substantive Substitution of Service. Alright, 1312.1, Scope Definition, Applicability. The provision of the project addresses the requirements of Title 49, 13.702 for the carriers, subject to the board jurisdiction of Title 49 U.S. Standard Code, Chapter 135, and providing transportation services of movement of the property expressive, exempt bulk cargo, forest products, recycled metal, scrap, waste, paper, and paper waste. By otherwise, the water carrier non-contiguous water contiguous domestic trade shall be published while the board tariffs contained with the rates of the transportation. Exemption of the provisions of the part do not apply. Any transportation service provided by the carrier pursuant to Title 49 14.101b. The transportation aim of the cargo, type of the cargo, service is not subject to the regulation under the jurisdiction of either by the Federal Maritime Commission or the Interstate Commerce Commission. Under federal law of November 1st, 1995, definitions for the purpose of the Act. When the Act means Part B with the title, subtitle 4 of the Title 49 United States Code. Agent means the person associated with the corporation authorized with the published file rates, provisions on the behalf of the one or more of the carriers in tariff published in with the agent's name. The agent's tariff means for the tariff file with the name of the agent. Board means for the Service of the Transportation Board. Board bound tariff means for the tariff consisting of two or more sheets bound to the left edge of the pamphlet of the book. Single sheet tariff. Carrier means a motor carrier with a water, freight, or forward as subject to the board jurisdiction, Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 135. Carrier tariffs mean with the tariff file with the name of the carrier. The collectively established tariff matter means of the rate of the charge rule. Other tariff provisions established pursuant to Title 49 U.S. States Code 13703. Independently establishing tariff matter means that any of the rate, charge, rule, other tariff provisions not established pursuant to Title 49 13703. Item means a tariff provision, any of the kind of bearing an item number designation. Joint rate means a rate that applies with over the lines route to two or more carriers made with by an agreement between the carriers and affected by a concurrence of the power of the attorney. Joint tariff means a tariff that contains joint rates and provisions affecting the joint rates. Local rate means a rate that applies with only to one carrier. Local tariff means a tariff that contains local rates and provisions affecting local rates. Loose leaf page means a single page polished with a part of the new reissued loose leaf tariff or as amended with the two sets of tariff. Loose leaf tariff means a tariff consisting of the loose leaf pages. Non-continuous domestic trade means the transportation subject to jurisdiction Title 49, Chapter 135 involving traffic originating in or and designated to Alaska, Hawaii territories, possession of the United States, or possessions of the United States. Original tariff means the bound of the loose leaf tariff, the original file with excluding minimums. Page means the portion of the tariff of the supplemental printed on one side of the sheet. Post refers to making the file tariff available to the public. Publication means the bound tariff, the tariff supplement, loose leaf tariff. R8 means the rate of charge. Service terms means all classification practice for the effect of the rates of the level of service. Supplement means a single sheet with the two or more sheets bound on the left edge of the same pamphlet book form identified as supplement published to the men and canceled by or bound or loose leaf tariff. Tariff means an issuance of a whole or in part bearing designation required by a part with the containing rates, rules, regulations, classifications of the provision published filed with the board forms in Title 49 U.S. United States Standard Code 13702. Alright, 1312.2. Requirements of published file with a tariff. Requirement of the tariff explain whether providing transportation charitable purpose of the charge within the providing transportation service described in 1312.1. Carrier by B. Carrier subject to the board jurisdiction Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 31 Chapter 135 may provide transportation service described in 1312.1a only if the rates and rates rules practice transportation or service contained with the published tariff of the one file with the board with the effect of under this party. Adherence of the tariff. The carrier may charge the receipt of the different compensation and transportation services of the rate specified of the tariff when returning part of the rate of the person given the person privilege, allowing the use of facility the effect of the value of the transportation service and other device. The carrier shall keep such tariffs available for public inspection, and shall make the tariffs available to subscribers as part of the subscribed as required part. Other information provisions for the information purpose of the include with the tariff provide that they are clearly identified. Some of the provisions made to include with the rates and serve the terms governing the transportation non-subject to the regulation of the by the board with the advertising promoting material affecting filing of the tenders of the in receipt with the acceptance of the board do not relieve the care of the Liability Violation Act or other laws, board regulation, any of the decision of the board or court if I have any effect the right of the person filing complaint substantial violation acts of the board regulation. Tariff relief of the provisions of the part may be sought with the request of such relief of the submitted with a duplicated company by the appropriate fee. The Title 49 CFR Part 1002 packages containing the application relief that shall be submitted with the mark specifically special tariff authority application. The application shall all pertinent tariff matter provide with the complete information regarding applicant's justification and purpose manner of the relief sought. Invalidation tariffs violating 13702 of the act or regulation of the board carrying out with the section then invalidated by the board. Tariff invalidated by the party of the file by the party is filed with the furnishing of the writing explanation of the reason for the such action. Tariffs issued in lieu of the invalidated tariffs of state. 13.12.3 Tariff contents and standards essential criteria. Contents tariffs filed with the board will include the accurate description of services offered to the public must provide the specific applicable rates or basis calculation. Specific applicable rates and service terms must be arranged in the way that allow for the determination of exact rates. Service terms applicable to any of the given shipments or to any of the group of shipments. The use of multiple tariffs information necessary to determine the applicable service terms for a given shipment that must need not to be contained with a single tariff. The multiple tariffs used to convey the information tariffs contained with the rates must be marked with a specific region, reference, single service transporter tariff designation. All other tariffs required to determine applicable rates and service terms of the carrier party of the rates participate in all of the tariffs so linked. Clarity. The tariff information presented with the way of the facility to determine the price of the services offered with related services. Ambiguous terms of complex method of presentation shall not be used. Exemptions reference marked with the abbreviations other than commonly abbreviations shall be explained within the item which they are used in a separate item. Alright, 13.12.4 Filing of tariffs. Filing requirement. Tariffs shall be filed with the English rates with explicitly with the of the U.S. dollar and sent with the 2 copies of each of the tariff publications should be filed to the board. Packages containing the tariff filing should be permanently marked with the tariff filing address and section tariffs served the Transportation Board 1925 K Street, North Washington, D.C. 204230001. Tariff must accompany with the authorized document transmittal identification publication filed with the appropriate filing. See Title 49 Part 1002. Acknowledgments of the board received the tariff filing obtaining the clothing and duplicating transmittal letter postage self-addressed return of envelope. The transmittal letter shall be clearly indicated with the upper left-hand corner thereof. The assigned alpha code for the issuing carrier agent, the number of the pages transmitted, the filing fee encompassed for the account number that be billed with the credit for the card to be charged, the transmittal number of the filer utilized with the transmittal numbers, and the filing is charged to a credit card with the credit card number and expiration date authorized signature. Paper side of the tariff shall be printed on paper no larger than 8.5 inches. 13.12.5 The amendments, the manner of the making change of the amendment, the change, the additional cancellation part of the tariff publication amendment, the bound the tariff, the new revised pages are tariff publication normally to be amended. Loose leaf tariffs, although loose leaf tariffs can also be amended by supplement of tariffs, it can also be canceled by new and released tariffs. C 13.12.7 Supplementally issued with the demand of the tariff shall be consecutively numbered. With each of the new supplemental shall be identified with the supplements that with a cancel. Any supplements that are still in effect, tariff amendment with the publishing supplement may be carried forward with the later supplement if it is identified with the reissue without changing the supplement it was originally published. Loose leaf pages. Loose leaf pages to original tariff shall be designated with original title page, original page 1, original page 2, etc. Loose leaf papers I issued amendment the tariff shall be bear with the consecutive revisions. Numbers shall be canceled with the prior version. Same page, first revised page 1. Cancels original page 1, second revised page 1, cancels first revised page 1, etc. Additional original pages may also be issued with the amendment of the tariff to amend the new numbered pages after the last numbered pages by adding existing numbered pages to the alphabetic suffix and page designated with original number. Page 2A could be added to the between pages 2 and 3, etc. Such loose leaf tariff shall include check sheet, correction number, check sheets, and some other methods determining loose leaf pages issued and amended to such tariff. Alright, 13.12.6, with an advance notice required and notice requirements unless otherwise specifically authorized by the board. Tariffs must be filed with the board on not less than the notice shown in paragraph B, section. Notice of the means the number of days of publication on the file of the board prior to effective date. The date the publication received by the board counts of the first day of the notice. Leave the length of the notice. The tariff may not be effective earlier than the first 30 days after the filing of the collectively established tariff matter, 7 work days after the filing independently established increased tariff. What's up, Mom? Alright, testing. Alright, we were at 7. Length of the notice. The tariff may not become effective earlier than 30 days after the filing. 30 days after filing with the collectively established tariff matter. 7 work days after filing with the independent established increased tariff matter. 3. Upon filing independently established new tariff matter with the independent established reduced tariff matter with additional restoration of the carrier participating tariff. Correction, list of participating tariff, list of participating carriers in tariff other than cancel carriers participation. Extension of the expiration date of the tariff of the matter with the postponement with effective date of the proposed tariff matter. Receive the tariffs of the board. The board will receive the tariffs filing with between 8:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time on a workday. The tariffs delivered to the board on the other work day or after 5 p.m. on a workday will be considered received the next workday. Our definition for the purpose of this section increased means the tariff change with the result of the higher change of the payer with the freight charge with the reduced service of the same rate. New means the initial rate with the other provision. New service reduced means the tariff change with the result of the lower change of the payer of the freight charge is expanded with the services of the same rate. Work days mean all days except Saturdays, Sundays, and all federal holidays observed with the District of Columbia. Alright, 13.12.7, Service Transportation Board tariff designation format. Tariff shall show any and authorized tariff designation over the characters STB, assigned alpha code of the carrier agent issuing tariff. Tariff number selected with the carrier of the agent, distinguishing tariff all other tariffs filed with the same issuing carrier agent. And then it goes, the tariff numbers not exceeding 5 numerical digits, followed by no more than 2 letters. Suffix example, and then suffix may be either designated release tariff. The example, the reissue with the 1000 could be designated 1000A. The reissue with the 1000A could be designated 1000B, etc. Alpha codes are assigned carrier of the tariff agents, the National Motor Freight Traffic Association, 2200 Mill Road, Alexandria, Virginia, 22314. Fees assignments fee may be the assignment of the codes may not exceed the proceeding costs. Code listing and list of assignment alphabetic code, name of the carrier's agent with whichever they assigned are subsequently changed to the list and shall be submitted to the board section tariffs. 13.12.8, the navigation tariff publication. Every tariff publication filed with the board shall include the Service Transportation Board tariff designation, name of the issuing carrier of the agent, the name of the tariff of the issue, the effective date of the publication containing the matter effective of the general effective date with the notification notation, except that the notice shall include the general effective date. 13.12.9, statement of the tariff applicable only on title page requirements. Even the new reissued tariff of the supplement filed with the board shall leave with the title page. Even the tariff supplement shall include the expiration date of the tariff supplement. If applicable, the title page. Each of the tariff shall also provide the complete name and address of the issuing of the carrier agent with the contact person, telephone number, the certificate, operating authority number. If applicable, sufficient statement of the territorial application made with the mode of serving carrier. Type of the rates, description, tariff complaints, explain local water carrier rates, freight all kinds of the points from the Alaska joint points of the United States joint motor water commodity containerized services between inner points of the United States ports, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii, and governing rules. Alright, 13.12.10, notice of the tariff change with the nature of the changes. Every publication filed with the board containing the tariff changes shall clearly identify some such changes with the nature of the where and increase with the decrease of the service rates for the transportation charge. 13.12.11, the special notification of ordered matter. The tariff publication contained with the mayor with the compliance with the board decision. Court order shall indicate that the publication relevant decision order was numbered in the date of the notice authorized required. 13.12.12, posting requirements. General posting requirements of one with each of the carrier maintain its principal offer the complete set of the tariff of the proposed effective and those with which is a party. Each carrier shall also maintain some of the altered tariff location. Also may be useful. The carrier shall provide information regarding all locations where the tariffs may be viewed. At all points where the tariffs are posted, they should be made available to the inspection person during the carrier's normal business time. Of the tariff shall be acceptable, readable. With the carrier shall also post the conspicuous space within those locations in large print that contain the statement that the tariff is or available to public inspection. All other carrier businesses offered to the carrier shall be displayed with a notice of advising public and location nearest available. The tariff notice of this shall be large print posted in Um, Conspicuous place in addition with the carrier shall, upon the request of the payer, particular tariffs available at the location as possible, no later than 20 days, provided or provided with such and such information orally satisfactory to the requester. Any publication referred to in the tariff must be posted with the tariff exemption and the posting requirement of the tariff maintained with the pursuant of the paragraph A2 of the section has not been used with a substantial length of the time posting with the tariff, including its reissue with the discontinuing with the station until the start of the time request is made with the reposted shall then be reposted with 20 days. All right, 13.12.13, furnishing copies of the tariff. Definition of subscribers of the section means any of the person of the carrier participant in the tariff of the voluntary furnishing with the request of the that it be furnished to one or more copies of the particular tariff without supplementing subsequent amendments of the reissue of the tariff. Sending of the new publication subscribers of the publishing carrier or agent shall send the newly issued tariff supplement with a loose leaf page request to each subscriber made by first class mail, other means requested written by the new subscriber. 2 new issued tariff supplement loose leaf pages shall be sent with each of the new subscriber no later than the time of the copies of the official filing sent with the board. Carriers, agents, acceptable subscriber to furnish with a specific portion of the original tariffs amendment affecting those portions. Certification letter of the transmittal company with the copies filed with the board shall contain the following certification. I certify that the compliance Title 49 CFR 13.12.13 was made. Charges, one, if any of the charges made with the charge of the copy of the tariff publications has the subscribers are reasonable and identical with the same publications. No charge that may be made even for the call for the sending publication, any publication invalidated by the board, nor of the invalidation of the publication invalidated by the subscriber shall be noted. Alternative subscription services described in the section must also be available to the subscriber requesting. However, the requirement of the offer of services does not preclude the offering different services with the subscriber requesting those services. All right, 13.12.14, powers of attorney concurrences, authorization rate, and service to carrier that may be filed with the carrier with the issue with the carrier's name on the left. They are filed with the agent, tariff with the carrier's execute with the power of attorney, authorization, individual entity with the service of the tariff agent. If the tariff and another carrier through issuance of the concurrency later charge carrier authorizes the first carrier's participation in joint rates throughout the rates. Disclosure authorization, if two or more carriers execute power of attorney to the same agent, it is not necessary that those carriers do exchange the concurrency to participate in the joint rates of the agent tariffs. Powers of the attorney and the concurrences are not to be filed with the board, but shall be provided with any person of the request. 13.12.15, change of the carrier agent. Change of the carriers may be unlawfully changed with the fiduciary. Assume the possession control of the carrier property. If all effective tariffs must be made to reflect change as required by the paragraph shall be filed with the promptly, and if impossible prior to effective date, with no class later than 60 days thereof. Thereafter, regardless of the date of the tariff actual filed with the effective date of the amendment required by the paragraph in the date of the event occurs, change of the agent when the new agent is appointed with the takeover of the agent. When the alternate agent is assumed with the duties of the principal agent, but it supersedes agent effective. Tariffs immediately with the amendment reflect change of the bearing effect with the date of the same with the date of the transfer of the case of the new agent with the may occur after only one or more of the participating carriers issue the power of attorney. The new agent will revoke for the previous power of the attorney at the same time all the effective tariffs amendment that reflect with the powers of attorney. All of the carriers who have not issued but must be canceled from the tariff. All right, 13.12.16. Substituting service of the motor carrier there hereafter this carrier one for the desire of the operation substituting service of the carrier with a different transportation mode of the here and referred to the carrier B the movement of the shipment of the do so if the shipment move of the bill landing that would use the carrier A performing the service of the carrier A assume the responsibility of the landing while it is in the possession of carrier B. Movement of the landing has been made prior to will be made subsequent and service performed in carrier B. All right, and that was chapter, this is Title 49 and CFR part, chapter 10, part 13.12. Regulation, publication, posting, filing, tariffs, transportation, property, or waterway, water carrier, non-domestic trade.